Here we can see got 117 volts coming in, but our back EMF is 280 across the capacitor. The start winding creates back EMF that applies voltage across or increases that voltage across the capacitor. The capacitor is not increasing the voltage. The back EMF of the motor is. We can also see that our high speed, we got 8.7, but over here on this side, we're at 11.5. That's because we're also getting the backflow from the capacitor. Every 1/60th of a second, the start winding is being helping as a motor, and 1/60th of a second, the start winding is actually a generator powering up the capacitor. Here we can see that our amperage across, or amperage on that capacitor, 2.1. Let's see what changes. See here that we're at 9.7 amps on the high speed. We're on our neutral side, we've dropped to 7.38. We're still at 118 volts coming in. Our voltage across the capacitor is 367, and we're at 2.9 amps on that start winding. Now we've blocked off about half of the airflow. We're at 3.1 amps on the high speed. Here we're at 5.4 amps on that common side. It's 119 volts supplying it, but we're at 408 volts across that capacitor, and we're at 3 amps. We've increased the amperage a little bit on that start winding. We're at 2.3 amps on our high speed. We're at 4.8 amps on our neutral, 120 volts. We're at 427 volts across our capacitor and 3.3 amps. So as we blocked airflow, our amperage on the motor decreased a lot. We're moving a whole lot less air, but we did end up with more back EMF across our capacitor, and we end up slightly increasing the amperage. We're talking like 1 amp, so it didn't increase very much at all, but we did have an increase. But you can see the interesting relationship between as we blocked airflow and we had a major drop in the amperage of the motor because we're not moving as much energy, we're not moving as much air. But you can see that we had very little increase in amperage at all because the capacitor itself is what's limiting the amperage to the motor. The capacitor is simply 2 plates, and there's no electrons flow across these plates. We charge electrons on one side and then they come back, charge it and back. On the other side, it's magnetism. It's pushing electrons back this way and then back in, back this way and back in. So as that back EMF starts to rise, we end up with more pressure pushing more electrons on that plate.